90,125 is the 11th studio album from the English progressive rock band Yes, released on November 7, 1983 on Atco Records. Following the group's disbanding in 1981, Squire and Alan White formed Cinema with Trevor Rabin and former Yes member Tony Kaye. During the mixing stage of their new album, Jon Anderson was invited to sing lead vocals, resulting in Cinema becoming the sixth lineup of Yes that lasted until 1988. Named after its Atco catalogue number, 90,125 remains Yes' most commercially successful album. It reached number 5 in the US, where it sold over 3 million copies, and number 16 in the UK. 4 singles were released from 90,125: Owner of a Lonely Heart, It Can Happen, Changes, and Leave It. Owner of a Lonely Heart reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and Hot Mainstream Rock Tracks charts. In 1985, Cinema won a Grammy Award for Best Rock Instrumental Performance, and 90,125 received a nomination for Best Rock Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocal. Yes toured the album from 1984 85 and spawned the concert film 9012 Live and the live album 9012 Live, The Solos. A collection of Rabin's early demos of some of the songs were released in 2003 as 90,124. The album was remastered in 2004 with bonus tracks. Background: this new incarnation of Yes came about by happenstance rather than design. In 1980, members Jon Anderson and Rick Wakeman had left the band, replaced by Trevor Horn and Jeff Downes respectively. The new lineup was short-lived. After a single album and tour, they disbanded in March 1981. Bassist Squire and drummer Alan White continued to work together and released a Christmas-themed single, Run with the Fox, as a duo in 1981. At the same time, guitarist and singer Trevor Rabin, formerly of the popular South African band Rabbit and more recently a less successful solo artist, was looking for a band project to join, having previously been proposed for a 1980 quartet with Rick Wakeman, John Wetton and Carl Palmer, and a proposed trio with Keith Emerson and Jack Bruce. Rabin had also tried out for Asia, alongside Wetton, Palmer and former Yes members Steve Howe and Jeff Downes, but gave up on the band, feeling that a two-guitar partnership with Howe wouldn't work. Having been put in touch with Squire and White, Rabin began working with them in early 1982. The trio decided that they needed a keyboard player to fill out their sound. Squire suggested inviting original Yes keyboardist Tony Kaye, whose sparse style he felt would suit the new band's direction. Naming themselves Cinema, the band began recording their debut album in November 1982. Trevor Horn was approached as a potential lead vocalist for the project, and sang on early versions of some tracks, but ultimately chose to take the role of album producer instead, with Rabin and Squire alternating lead vocals. Most of Cinema's material was drawn from songs Rabin had written for a shelved solo album, although Squire and White had brought along some of the abandoned XYZ material and an early version of It Can Happen. The band rewrote their existing material together, with additional advice coming from Horn, who himself made a substantial contribution to the vocal showcase Leave It. By early 1983 the initial version of the album was complete, although by this time Cinema was suffering from personnel issues. Kaye had fallen out with the strong-willed Horn and been edged out of the band, resulting in much of the album's keyboard work being played by Rabin. Record company feedback had also suggested that neither Squire nor Rabin were perceived as being strong or distinctive lead vocalists. This led to a meeting between Squire and Jon Anderson in April 1983. Having been played some of Cinema's recordings, Anderson was impressed by the band's work and agreed to join the band as lead singer. Effectively brought in at the last minute, Anderson also rewrote lyrics and made final alterations to songs, including Owner of a Lonely Heart. Anderson's involvement meant that Cinema now featured 3 former Yes members plus another former member as producer. Having signed the new band, Atlantic Records' Phil Carson suggested that they re-adopt the Yes name. Rabin was dubious at first but was persuaded to go along with the idea. As the band started preparing for a tour to support the forthcoming album, Eddie Jobson was recruited as keyboard player and appeared in the video for Owner of a Lonely Heart. However, Seeking to consolidate the band's legal identity as Yes, Chris Squire came to an agreement with Tony Kaye and the latter rejoined the band. Unimpressed with the maneuvering and not interested in sharing keyboard duties, Jobson left the band. Kaye's familiarity with both the new and classic Yes material would contribute greatly to the success of the act when playing live. Sleeve design: the album's logo was designed and created by Gary Murat at Assorted Images on an Apple II computer, and a variant would be used on Yes's next studio album Big Generator as well. Trevor Rabin's 2003 album 90124 used the same cover design with color and text variations. Release and reception: 90125 was released on November 7, 1983 and reached number 5 in the US, where it sold over 3 million copies, and number 16 in the UK. 4 singles were released from 90125. Owner of a Lonely Heart, released a month prior to the album. It reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 2 weeks and the Hot Mainstream Rock tracks. In 1984, It Can Happen, Changes, and Leave It reached the top 10 on the Hot Mainstream Rock tracks. In 1985, Cinema won a Grammy Award for Best Rock Instrumental Performance and 90125 received a nomination for Best Rock Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocal. Reissues: 1984 Atco a CD, 2004 Rhino a CD, 2009 a Audio Fidelity 24-karat gold CD. Track listing. Personnel. Singles a Billboard. Sales certifications: Canada, Tour, Platinum, Germany, Platinum, UK, Gold, US, 3, Platinum. References